And welcome to Ducks No Sports. This week we're previewing week 2 of the CFL season. And let's be honest, football fans, week 1 kind of disappointing. We saw a lot of bad games. I mean, the Eskimos Argos comes to mind. One of the worst games I've ever seen. But hey, week 2, there's some pretty intriguing matchups, and I expect the play to be a lot better than it was last week. But we'll start with matchup 1, Winnipeg at Montreal. We'll start with the Bombers here. Wow, that offense looks as bad as I thought it would. You know, with Buck Pierce going down in the second quarter. I know, Buck Pierce getting hurt. What a shock. But, you know, with this offense, you know, Alex Brink went in there and the ball started to move a little. If I'm the Blue Bombers, I ride Alex Brink. You know, I think Alex Brink is the real deal, and I'm a big Alex Brink fan, and I would make him the starter. I think Alex Brink might be the next great starter in the CFL, and that offense, man, they need to get something going, because I don't see how they're going to put up even 20 points a game, because awful, you know, Terrence Edwards is their only real threat to score. And he also has his injury problems too. So, and on defense, you know, it's pretty clear the Odell Willis trade was a mistake. As on defense, they look lost. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I said it in my preview. I said it last week. I'll say it now. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers in for a long year, and they're playing a team in the Montreal Alouettes who got their ass beat last week. And I don't think the Alouettes are used to that. You know, years of just beating down teams. You know, finally got some of their own medicine. And something tells me this is going to fuel, you know, Trustman and Calvillo. Something tells me they're going to want to put on a show this week and show that they still have it. You know, let's remember, the Montreal Alouettes still have a talented roster. Yes, they're old. They did look old last week. They looked a step slow behind the Stampeders last week. But I don't think this team is done at all. And I just think this week, after the showing they had last week, I think they want to prove to CFL that they still have it. And I believe the Montreal Alouettes beat down the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and win this game by 3 touchdowns. Okay, our next matchup, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who looked awful last week, taking on the BC Lions, who looked alright last week. We'll start with the Ticats. You know, there's been a lot of talk around the Steel City this week. You know, maybe the sky is falling a little, that maybe they're not as good as they thought. I'm not one of those people. I think last week was a case of the Ticats just beat themselves. And the fact, you know, just bad penalties, the 97-yard touchdown that got brought back on a bad penalty comes to mind, and bad calls all game. And I think Coach Cortez said it best. We did everything wrong, so there's nothing we can take out of this game. So I think you just throw out the game film from last week, don't even look at it. And remember, Henry Burris is playing with all new receivers in a brand new system. It's going to take a few weeks. And if people thought they were going to put up, you know, 50 points a game, 40 points a game from the jump, that was probably unrealistic. And I still like this Hamilton team. I think they're a very talented team on offense, and could still be great cup contenders in my mind. But it's clear on defense, there are issues. I mean, no pass rush whatsoever last week against the Rough Riders. And man, their linebackers looked lost out there. Even Jamal Johnson, I'm a big Jamal Johnson fan, but he looked lost. You know, just they need some work in their linebacking, in their front 7, more like the front 7. If I'm the Tiger Cats, I'm saying Jamal Johnson on blitz after blitz after blitz this week, because they need to create some pressure, and they have none of it right now. Hopefully, Perch, their off-season signing, comes back this week, but they're still hoping for that. But still, like, that's not going to be enough. They need some pressure. They need it fast. They have two rookie ends right now, that 2 Americans that don't know the game yet, and it's clear they don't know the game. And on their secondary didn't play that horrible last week, but that's the only positive thing in their defense last week. But man, they looked lost. And if this continues, maybe Hamilton might be for a long season there. But if they can create some pressure this week, I truly believe they have a shot against BC. And of course, we move on to the BC Lions, who, weren't that great last week. Yes, they put up 30 points, but those were a lot of late touchdowns. And the BC Lions is pretty clear that maybe they were a little too focused last week on getting Gior Simon the record. They did, so I think that's off a boulder off their shoulders. And I just think they're going to start to fly now. I think now that they got that out of the way, it's nothing but smooth sailings from here. And I really love this team. I really think they're going back to the Grey Cup. Before this season started, I actually thought it'd be Hamilton and BC in the Grey Cup. So this should be a very interesting game. But I think when it's all said and done, I think Hamilton will play a lot better than they did last week. I think they'll clean up a lot of mistakes they did. But I just think BC is just a step better, a step faster than everybody else in the league. And I believe the BC Lions beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's going to be a tight game. I'm thinking this game comes down to a last-second field goal. And when you got a field goal kicker as good as the BC Lions have, that's all you really need at the end of the day. And the BC Lions win this game by 3 points. Okay, moving on to the Calgary Stampeders taking on the Toronto Argonauts. Start with Calgary. Maybe only one game of the season, but the Stampeders look good, like damn good, like Grey Cup bound good. I mean, they just left a whooping all over Montreal West last week. Drew Tate, clearly, there wasn't a lot of good offensive showings last week, but Calgary was one of them, as they just left a whooping all over the Alouettes. Drew Tate showing why he might be an MVP type. And there's nothing bad to say about last week. I mean, they ran the ball well. They found open receivers. Their defense played outstanding. Get some turnovers. I mean, the Calgary Stampeders look like, I know it's only one week in, but they look like them, the BC Lions, are dead on collision to be in the West Final. It's only one week in, yes. But Stampeders look a lot better than I thought, and a lot better than I think a lot of people thought they did than they would this year. And I truly believe if they keep this up, they will be great Cup bound. Only 1 week. Will be interesting this week. If there is a bit of a drop off because the competition not as good in Toronto, but it will be interesting how they play this week. And Drew Tate is looking amazing right now. And like I keep saying 1 week, but Drew Tate might be one of the best QBs in the CFL. Okay, moving to the Toronto Argos. Up and down week last week, didn't impress me that much. I mean, the first half, I thought I was looking at maybe the worst team in the CFL. I mean, like I said with Burris, with Ricky Ray, this is going to take a few weeks. If not, like they were saying in the TSM panel, this might take maybe till like Labor Day to get this thing figured out. I don't think it's going to take that long, but the Toronto Argonauts to me don't look that good. And Ricky Ray, like I said in my preview and last week, this man is over the hill, and in my opinion is done. He's a great CFL quarterback, no doubt, but I think Edmonton was smart trading him because I think his best days are behind him. And I think the Argonauts, man, they got to get this figured out quick because Corey Boyd didn't look that great last week. I mean, 9 yards on 10 catches. And every time he got an open space, he always got tackled by one guy, which you didn't see that two years ago or even last year. I mean, this guy looks old, and if Corey Boyd can't go, and if he looks slow and he looks done, Toronto Argonauts are in trouble because then you put all the pressure on Ray, which with this receiving core isn't really fair. And with a defense, actually the defense, I'll say this about Toronto Argonauts last week, their defense impressed me. I mean, that's what you get from a Chris Jones defense, though. A defense just flying around, making plays. So it's pretty clear this team's strength is on their defense if they want to win games consistently this year. Their defense will probably have to carry the load. And let's see, they didn't look that great last week. Let's see, maybe against a team who, let's face it, they're playing the Eskimos last week, who didn't play that well either. And the Calgary Stampeders, Toronto Argonauts this week to win this game. They're gonna step the game up in every facet of the game because they're going against a team that's just flying red hot right now, and I just don't think they have enough horses to get it done. And I believe that Calgary Stampeders lay another whooping this week as they beat down the Toronto Argonauts by 4. That's right, 4 touchdowns. And I love the Calgary Stampeders. And our last game of the week, the Edmonton Eskimos taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Not take anything away from Steve and Giles, because he got the job done today. He got the job done last week, but he did not play well. And I was not really that impressed with what I saw last week. But again, a guy learning a new system, new receivers, so it's going to maybe take a few weeks. But he didn't look that good. I mean, he looked confused at times. He ran way too much, I think. I think he says his first option was open, so he seems just to run. He needs to break that habit. But the Edmonton Eskimos, it's pretty clear this team's strength is their defense. Kind of like Toronto, their strength is their defense. If they want to win this year, their defense is going to have to carry the load. Of course, they got some good players on defense, so I think they could. But the Edmonton Eskimos, maybe I was overselling them last week. Maybe they won't be that good. The Calgary Stampeders look good. The BC Lions look good. Even the Rough Riders looked good last week. And of all those teams in the West, the Edmonton Eskimos looked the most weakest team. Even though they won last week, they still looked weak. And Steven Giles has to step his game up, son. I mean, he's no longer backup. You are the man. You are the starter. You better play like it. And if they expect to win this week, he better step up his game. Because they're playing a team who, I'll call for what it is, red hot. As they just beat down the Ticats last week. Of course, I'm talking about the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Darian Durant looked like the old Darian Durant. He was finding Trelser open up all night. And this young running back they got, man, he's explosive. I mean, it was a sheet show last week. I mean, he was explosive. Every time this guy touches the ball, I thought he was going to score. That's how explosive he was. And you know what people saying? Maybe this was just, a one-hit wonder. They're playing maybe a team of Ticats is still trying to figure things out. So maybe they caught a team at the right time. But I don't know, man. If Durant plays like that, if Odell Willis keeps playing that way on D, this team is going to be a hard team to beat this year. And I truly believe the Saskatchewan Roughriders, call me crazy, are going 2-0 to start the year, because I believe when it's all said and done, this will be a tight, contested West game. But when it's all said and done, I like the Rough Riders, led by Durant and Sheets and Dressler, to get the job done again. I believe the Saskatchewan Rough Riders win this game in a tight affair. Probably comes down to maybe a field goal at the end. But I like the Rough Riders to keep this train rolling and win this game this week and go to 2-0 on the CFL season. Okay, alright, that's my breakdown for week 2 of the CFL. I'm excited for this year, just excited for this week. Just to recap, I like the Alouettes, I like the Lions, I like the Stampeders, and I like the Rough Riders. Should be some interesting matchups this week. I'm real excited, because it's always interesting, the CFL, and should be another great week in the CFL, and it can only look up, because week 1 was really that bad. Well, till next time, I'm Aaron Duxbury saying, I'm Dux, and I know sports.